Hello, my name is Dani. I am the marketing coordinator for SageCore, and with me I have Willie. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us your name, the university you go to, your major, and what SageCore program you participated in, please.
Yeah. So my name is Willie, and I graduated from Northwestern University with a major in mathematics and data science. And I took the summer remote Sage Core program, and I basically worked at a startup that was French based in Europe, where we help like industrial companies like power plants manage their like energy.
Okay, and what was the name of the startup?
It's called gyoza. Like
Cute.
the food gyoza,
Okay.
but like they changed the Y into an I.
Okay, fun. And what was your role this summer within Yo Gyoza? Like what projects were working on and how do you feel that your work impacted the startup?
Yeah, so I was brought on as a data analyst or data scientist. So basically, I will worked in a small team since my startup wasn't really big, like maybe five or so people. So on this data side, it was usually just me and a lead data scientist that I usually work with, but not like very like constantly. It was just more like if I really needed help. It's more of an independent thing because I'm guessing most startups, usually when you're in Sage Corp, you are working in a small team. So you generally want to kind of be a little bit more independent with your work, be a little bit more confident, and be able to kind of discuss like what you know clearly to like your team so that they know what to do with your work. So what my main obligations were basically conducting data research using data from like the data that they gather from their power plants that they work with their clients. And I help to use that data to like make models, help do like predictive analysis to help them like discuss what ways to like help manage energy like through finding anomalies and like weird patterns in data that's like happening over the weekend when they shouldn't be using energy, or like if they're using way too much energy to produce like some amount of screws when they shouldn't be. And that's basically like how I had to like provide my help to them, like my expertise.
Okay, good. And you felt comfortable doing so. How was the accommodation process? Did you have to learn new things to accommodate to the role, or how did this look like a little bit?
Um, I don't know if this is true for a lot of like people that are working in startups, but I was pretty confident in my skills. I knew that I don't know a lot of things, even though I already graduated, so it means that I already should probably know a lot of skills because I've already been in college for a long time. But but I'm always like learning new things because industry professionals have like spent years thinking about like ways to optimize their workflow. So specifically for me, I used a lot of skills with data analytics that were more academic based. So like the regular stuff that you will hear in college would be like use Python, use SQL, and Microsoft Excel, like the really common stuff. But then later on, when you're working in the industrial setting or like startups, like regular jobs, you had to kind of think about how your skill set needs to be constantly improving so then your your work isn't becoming like a bottleneck for other people's work. So basically what I had to do was I knew for like specifically like example, I worked with a lot of model building, but since it was only me and my lead data scientist that I had to like basically report to sometimes, um, I built a model and he basically thinks about what I have done, what I could have improved on, and then we just have this back and forth during some meetings to explain what we could do for next steps. And then once I'm like confident that the model is working, I need to learn how to deploy it. I have never learned to deploy it usually in schools. I'm mostly done on the research side, so that's like a new skill that I had to do. And then once we get to the deployment stage, you have to think about future actions, like how that model could be scalable, efficient, or like easily used.
Okay, it's so good that you actually gained new skills through the internship itself and that you had very good mentorship. Before jumping into the internship, did you go through the Sage Core Skills Academy? And if you did, what path did you go through? And what were your key takeaways from this program?
Yeah, so I I already knew a lot of the data analytics skills, and there were a lot of courses that were offered me in data analytics. So I went through those pretty quickly because I already knew them. But a lot of the business analytics were really useful, especially when there was a course on communication. It really kind of taught me that there was a like kind of a more like in-depth thing, that skill like with communication rather than just like talking and understanding like what needs to be like done. Like you have to think about what needs to be communicated effectively, when to like say things, what are like really effective or detrimental to like conversations, like so that people aren't like creating bottlenecks. Because usually communication is a way for everyone to get on the same page, to know what you're doing. But if you're not clear or like you're saying things that generally only you know, but like other people might not have expertise on, you might be creating a miscommunication where you don't know like what why your work is like useful or what they could use it for because you're not exactly sure what the exact purpose of what you're doing is, what your like tasks are like like helpful for.
Yeah, of course. And so you put some of these skills in communication in motion throughout your internship?
Yeah, because mine was a French base, so there was like basically a time conflict. So from US to France, or Europe in general, it was basically a 7 hour difference.
Yeah.
So when I'm awake and I had to do my work, it was basically almost time for them. Well, it's
Oh,
basically
wow.
the end of the day for them. Yeah. So when it's like 9 a.m. for me, basically they're at like I think 4 or 5. So they're basically done with their workday, but they still have to have the extra time to talk with me to discuss what I need to do for the day and what they expect from me the following day for our next meeting. So I need to be clear about what I'm doing. And also since like they're almost done for the day, that means all my communication usually has to be more independent. So I need to actually record all my work. So usually you use this like for several communication channels. For me, I usually use Slack or email, but I also kept a spreadsheet in case they don't want to keep going like on Slack because sometimes it's hard to like keep track of everything when the team is like constantly talk about really important like information that they have to do like client meetings. So I usually keep my work, everything that I've done and like my progress in like a spreadsheet so they know where I am exactly throughout the day.
That's very smart. That's actually something we can recommend to other students. Very good idea. So you were talking a little bit about the hours and the time difference. So I want to know a little bit about how your typical workday looked like. How did you balance your work and personal life? What were you doing in your free time? And well, you already mentioned a little bit of how you managed the hours with them, but more of like on your side now.
Yeah, my internship was like a typical 9 to 5. So wake up at 9 and I keep working 9 to 5. It's not always like exactly that schedule. Like maybe sometimes I have to take a break because like some tasks are like difficult, or like maybe like I ended a little bit early because there isn't like that I can find like the task is like super like difficult to complete. So it kind of varies like from like depending on like the task I have from day to day. But mostly it's like 9 to 5 as usual with like regular jobs. Um, I think that mostly I kind of just did work that kind of needed my attention. Um, so I need to focus a lot, and I'm not super proficient in like everything that I know. I'm just confident in what I do. So when I need help, I know that I will probably just talk to like one of like someone in the team that they have more expertise in. So like when I had like a problem when I was trying to deploy a model, it was like really difficult for me and I didn't exactly know. But luckily when I reached out to someone when it was like it was like really nut like at the night for them because they're Paris based, and I didn't want to bother them, but I was having a lot of problems. So then luckily they were able to schedule a meeting with me, and like in about an hour we were able to like build the entire thing, which was awesome because it would have taken me like almost the entire day or like basically a bunch of hours. So I think like having like a pretty good like a mentor like or someone that you could like know to talk to help you out is really great, and that was like a really eye-opening thing for me because I never had like this type of communication with like one of my seniors where I needed to like had help, and they were just right there to help me because if my work was creating a bottleneck for everyone else's work, then they will kind of suffer as well. So they're always like lending a hand to help me out. So like like during those tasks that are like really difficult, I always like to reach out to people because it makes it a little bit easier for me. And then on my downtime to kind of like manage this if I don't really have help, I kind of like to, since this is a remote program, I like to kind of go outside and take a breather because it's kind of helpful to clear my mind. It's not that like I like being outside all the time, but like I just but like I needed that breather, but basically it helps me clear my head because like you're stuck in the same place. You're thinking really hard about like really a lot of tasks, and you feel like I don't know if this is true for a lot of people, but for me, I feel like kind of claustrophobic of it. So I need to like go outside to take a breather to like kind of like recollect my thoughts and like know where I need to go next.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing about being a remote worker, and it's very good experience you already have. So you know if it's something you want to pursue. In our company in Sage Corp, all of us are remote workers, and that key thing that you said is very important. Going outside and taking a breather, going out for a walk. If you have a pet, go with your pet because that's what will get you refreshed and ready to go back to your desk. Because at the end, you're at home cooking, working, sleeping, doing most things. So you really need to have those off times throughout the day and like throughout the week so that you can, yeah, you don't get claustrophobic, as you said. But that's very good to hear. What would be three highlights you have of this summer experience with Sage Core, with the remote program? What are three things that you say, well, this was incredible, like either from networking or from your work or just anything in general from the experience?
Yeah. The first thing that came to mind was when I was the networking event that I kind of got recommended with Shape Corp. Basically, there was a tech event in Chicago, which is where Northwestern is kind of placed. It's just like downtown, like a couple of train stops away. It was awesome. I was really nervous when I was like talking with people that I really didn't know. It kind of felt like I was trying to like get myself a job or something. But I try to focus more on like what they were uh like wanted to promote rather than about myself because I kind of found out that or kind of what I've experienced was that people usually kind of go to this event to like kind of promote stuff that they are doing. So or this could or maybe this had just been like particularly for Tech Chicago because it was a tech event. They were trying to show off a lot of like really cool inventions that they were working on for like the past year or so. So like one interaction that I had in this networking event was there was this company that was developing like virtual reality, and they're trying to show like a different technique that they were using to optimize how people could experience virtual reality. So they were doing this through like this like fighting like building game, and it was like really kind of cool, and I was able to interact with it. It was definitely a like a nerve-wracking experience, but it was less nervous because I kind of think about like not as like a job opportunity, but more as a like experience. And it was really nice to like be able to do that event because I probably wouldn't have been pushed by myself to do it if it wasn't like for Stage Corp. And I think like a second event was particularly with my startup. Um, this is it's not exactly because it was because of stage work, but they wanted to. My CEO usually has a lot of client meetings with a bunch of different companies. So then so he'll be able to get me data and I could use that data to like perform like different types of research. So, and he also like wants to be able to promote like the company to other people. So then we will expand. So the usual like startup stuff where like the CEO try to promote their their company. So basically, he asked me one time to basically join him on one of the meetings, and that was very nerve-wracking. It was basically me trying to ex like promote
Okay.
the company. Yeah, yeah. And I was like trying to explain the data side, but I was like kind of filled in like a I was in like it was basically like a pitch meeting remotely, and I was like talking to like some people from like really big name companies like Toyota, and I was like super nervous.
That's
But it
your
was yeah,
exposure.
yeah, but it was really interesting because it felt like Tech Chicago, the networking event, because I was like learning new like inventions that people were doing to solve like real life problems that were like really applicable. Like in Tech Chicago, I is like they were just showing off cool inventions that they were doing because they just wanted to show it off. It's kind of like when you're in college and you like learn a new subject and you're like, oh, this is cool, but sometimes you're not exactly sure what they're applicable for. But like when I was in my startup meeting for like this client, it wasn't exactly Toyota. It was just like a bunch of people like from Europe. It was kind of like a pitch meeting. And then basically I had to explain the data side and they explained what they were doing, what problems that they were experiencing, and what and how like our company could help them.
Awesome.
And so then there were like other people that were like kind of I wouldn't say they're competitors, but like they're just basically other people that were like trying to promote their companies, and I was able to see like what they were doing, how they're like promoting some solutions to like solve like real life problems that were happening in power plants, and I was like, wow, there's so many different solutions to like a lot of problems that I didn't even think about that that even my startup is not like tackling because it's not like our forte. So that was really cool. And maybe a third event. Can't really think of one
Doesn't
really
have to
recently.
actually be an event. It can be like a skill you learned or, interactions you had with your boss or your mentor, like things you take with you with gratitude from your experience that you're like, oh, I will always remember this. It can also be like the relationship you built with your manager. It really depends. Something that's memorable.
Okay. Um, Probably the meeting I had where I was trying to deploy the model that I mentioned before. I worked independently before by myself to complete a project or with like a large team, but I never had like a one-on-one where someone was more experienced than me and who was just guiding me along the way. It was kind of interesting, like how I was kind of like his apprentice and he was like just like ed like edging me to like think about what I need to do next rather than just giving me the answers. Like sometimes he did because obviously it was late for him and he had other things he needed to do where he wanted to rest. So it was kind of like this back and forth where he wanted me to think about what I need to do. So during like that 1 hour to like 2 hours where we were like talking, we were just you asked me questions like what this was doing because I already had everything set up, but I just didn't exactly know how to make it efficient and deploy it online. So he was just helping me with that part. So then we were working through all the kinks and like how everything should be like working. And basically he was just asking me questions like what this part of the code does, what does this do, why are you doing it this way? And then he was offering suggestions like how I should modify it. And then basically like in that 1 hour, like I kind of learned like how he kind of like worked through the work. Usually I kind of just focus on how do I make this code work? Like as long as it works, it should be kind of fine. If it's efficient, then that's great too. But he kind of think about it more as a product. So he wants to think about how efficient it would be if we were able to deploy it like in any way that like we could make this like super efficient to use when we want to think about it as a product, not as something that we want to do like like I'm not exactly sure how to express this like clearly, but basically he wants the product to be more actionable. That was like a really common phrase that like they used in the company. Like a lot of the stuff that we had to do has to be actionable so that when clients use it, they know why they're using it. Like there's some kind of purpose that they're using this product for. And that was like really eye-opening to kind of have like a single like umbrella of what we need to think about how to do this. And then we kind of think about like really small goals to to do this, like how to like deploy the model, how to make it efficient, how to make it scalable. And I really like that meeting because it like taught me what how to think, like what's new skills I had to learn. And it was just like a really good meeting where I learned a lot.
That is very good. I feel like I'm very happy for you that you had all of these experiences where you were able to test your skills, to learn new skills, to learn about apprenticeship, which is very important, learning how to ask questions and ask for help and be guided through a new process. So kudos to you. So good. Sounds like an incredible experience. And before we close, I just want to ask you, so you had a mentor that was giving you ideas and like walking you through the new process. So I would like to ask you, what advice would you give to a student that is looking into taking part of one of our remote programs of the summer remote program? What would be an advice you would give them for in terms of preparation or mindset or anything in particular you say like, oh, this helped me so much and I feel that someone else could take advantage of it?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that I will probably recommend is saying yes to a lot of things. Um, like I wouldn't say I'm a nervous person, but like a lot of the networking events, like the client meeting where I try to like promote the company, it was stuff that usually I don't like to do, or like when we're trying to like do some tasks that were exactly in my forte. Like I mostly focus on data analytics side, but having to like talk to clients or like talk like explain everything that I'm trying to do, like it's sometimes like mind-boggling and it's like I get kind of nervous. So even though I'm not great at it, I like to say yes to a lot of things because you kind of learn. Um, I wouldn't say it's always like skills that you need to learn, but it's good to have the experience to know what other people are doing in the company, so you kind of have an appreciation for everything that you're doing. Because sometimes I'm doing work that I'm not exactly sure it's valuable, but when I'm like in these pitch meetings and I see my work being shown, even though I didn't think it was like really important, they kind of like are using it to show like a really important point. So I'm like really appreciative that like even though like I didn't find like it was anything like too special, like they were able to find something that they could use it for. So I definitely say like being more like I don't know acceptive of like other people's opportunities because you might not get that opportunity again. And even though it doesn't seem like it's helpful, like maybe you could take something away from it.
Yeah, definitely say yes to all opportunities that come through because they will be of great value for your skills and for the future. So that's a very good advice. Okay, so Willie, I wanted to ask you, how has Sage Corp helped you in looking for a job after graduation? You just graduated, so I just wanted to know what this has looked for you. Has Sage Corp helped you in any way?
Yeah, definitely. It helped me kind of think about like what skills I need to learn or like how to kind of be like job minded. So, but currently I'm still working at my startup, and because we both thought like my skills were pretty valuable, like that were helpful, and we had kind of like clicked because I was working with everyone in the team, from the CEO to the CTO, product manager. Our team isn't really big, so uh, they all kind of found that when I was able to work with one-on-one with each of them, or like that was really useful to like help them. So I guess like they thought I was good enough that I should be able to stay on Steam. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's very good. Congratulations then for that. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Willie, and thank you for sharing your experience. Hope it helps other students looking into the program.
Yeah.
And good luck with everything post-graduation.
Yeah, you too. Hopefully you're having a good summer or summer ended, so hopefully you're having a good fall.
Yeah, it's been good. Thank you so much. Thanks.